What is up the Steem blockchain? So today I want to talk a little bit about some thoughts I have about mainstream ideas about AI and cryptocurrency, mainly AI. And these seems to be some general trends in the whole industry of mainstream news, mainstream ideas, which I want to say is, first of all, it's linear thinking mainly. While we on the Steem blockchain, we're using exponential thinking, exponential ideas. These ideas can go from 1 to 5, 10, 20, like exponential growth. You don't see it coming. Did anyone see Bitcoin coming? It was down below $1, and now it is a few $1,000s. You did not see that coming. Because if you looked at it from a linear perspective, it looks pointless. But exponential industry. So let's take a look at these, the thoughts I have about mainstream ideas about AI mainly. So these are some things that I wrote down. So the first weird thing I would say is this idea of data protection. And for me, that basically points to no thrive, a logical mind trap that people sort of try to protect data, and it's still based in scarcity. It's still based in a system that would be extreme scarcity, that I have some important data that is mine, I need to protect it. And this is a very popular idea, to be honest. Now, I think that data should be open. Like that seems to be the ideal. That seems to create the most empowered network. And that small bits and pieces, people really hype it up with the logical mind. Like, this is my bits and pieces. It's very important that I keep it. It needs to be private. I mean, the internet, everything's open, right? So I don't get that idea. Central currency. Now I also want to say that my data protection, like, it sounds like a buzzword. Maybe it has some weight to it, but I don't think so. But I'm open-minded. Okay, the other idea is this central currency idea that people want to do something digital sometimes in the mainstream, but it needs to be centralized. Like they still want to have that control. And it's still this idea of a central currency, a central place where power comes from. And that would also create no thrive, no freedom, because people are not making the network. It is, they have to search for authority from a central currency. Other ideas that I see a lot in the mainstream is ideas of competition. So take the Steem blockchain. There's no competition here. This is a peer-to-peer share network. It's give and receive. The idea of competition is scarcity. Because if one person do amazing stuff on the Steem blockchain, that benefits you. It increases the value of the whole ecosystem. It pulls in more energy. So the idea of competition, it's going away. It is the old paradigm that I have to compete. Then we have other ideas. Limited identity, mainly tied to nation or use a more limited identity, like something that people take on and the intellect only works towards that. Let's say they see this cryptocurrency thing and then they only want to do it for their nation. They don't want to have a global system. They don't want to have an inclusive system that benefits every single human on this planet. It is limited identity thinking. So they use the intellect to protect their limited identity. And the global idea is that if you have one global network, you don't need these silly smaller ideas, because the empowerment is by connecting everyone and letting people decide. And then you have this buzzword talk of privacy. Privacy, where's my privacy? People, again, I would say it's a logical mind trap. People are obsessed about privacy. Let's be real. The moment we hooked up to this internet, there is no privacy. Everything's gonna be open, right? If we want privacy, we can't put stuff on the digital world. That's just a fact. And then you have linear thinking. This is a big one where people think it's gonna grow slowly. It's gonna go slowly and steady. We're slowly gonna grow this industry. It's gonna be very linear. It's gonna be taking 100 years. It's gonna slowly grow. But it's an exponential industry, mainly because computing power is like a billion times better than 50 years ago. That's not going linear. That's not going linear at all, man. It's exponential. It goes exponential. So we have to use exponential thinking. Linear thinking, something very common that humans invest into, you're gonna completely miss the bigger picture. And then we have the idea of people just being clueless. They want pride. They're very ignorant, many. And just clueless in general. They haven't been open-minded and researched deeper. And they want that prideful feeling that I want to do some cool digital thing. And but their ignorance is so deep. And we're all ignorant, right? But I don't know, man. And then you have other ideas, as taxes, for example. Like, people seriously think we're gonna have taxes in 10 years. Now, what I say is like, okay, if you take a closely look at this exponential industry, how can taxes be available in 10 years? It really makes zero sense. And like, especially if you look at the global industry, the global movement, like, it really makes no sense. Like, it's still based in scarcity. Like, it had its role. It really had its role. But if the story of money goes away, if abundance comes, like, why would you need to do this silly little tax thing? That is based on when capital or when labor, manual labor, was actually had real value. But when humans cannot produce anything magical using their intellect or using their body, why would you need taxes? It's the silliest thing ever. Okay, tax the robots, but it's like, even that is pointless. It's not like they can do it. Like, they can. Like, you can get value from that. You can get some taxes. But the thing is, if they launch their own token, they have the value, right? They don't need a little tax thing, right? Because every industry is going to be reimagined. Exponential curves, exponential progress, exponential success, exponential ideas. That's taxes basically it's based on linear thinking. Makes zero sense. Especially when you take a look at everything is getting involved in the tech space. Everything is tech, right? It's going to take over everything. And then you also, again, with linear thinking, people seriously think they're going to drive cars in 10 years. Exponential industry. If automation hits in 5 years, why would people drive in 10 years? Makes zero sense, to be honest. Because the value you're going to get is just going to be bigger by not owning a car. Like, people want the value, right? The only people use cars right now is because they have to go to a place, they can get some value some other place. But we are having the digital tech right now, so you can do everything in your home, right? And then you have these ideas of new age tech and assistant/robots. So the physical world, smartphones and computers, it's hitting a peak where there really is no point in buying a brand new overpriced smartphone. And now we're going to see these new age ideas trying to squeeze out money using the power of capitalism. So they're going to do this new age tech, like some people at the university is going to build this like new age so-called robot that has so-called AI, and then they're going to sell it to companies, going to try to sell it to people. It's going to be like, the next 10 years, you really don't need a so-called AI assistant or a robot in your home. It's not really going to improve your life by that much. You know, it's silly, to be honest. It's very silly. I think after 2050 or maybe after 2040, maybe it's gonna be a big thing. But the next 10 years, I mean, come on. You, you just have to reimagine the whole industry, man. Like, people don't need physical stuff. They only need software. People need software, man. Man, just give them the software. Software and we're good, man. We're good. We only need the software. We don't need the physical robots. Or I think robots may be a thing in the future, like 2040, 2050. Sure. But it's like phones have peaked right now. We have all the computing power we need. And it's like, yeah, people can do small things like chat with little robot, but it's silly to think that you're really gonna need this new age tech right now. Because what it comes down to is value eventually. Tokens, you want value, right? When you have the value, you can get food and all those things. No, you're good. Like, you're good. You're software and digital value, tokens, Steam, and so on. That's the only thing you need, right? What can this new age tech do? Like, Google is already fine. They're gonna do so much new age tech that we haven't seen yet, and they're gonna price it at ridiculous levels. And they're gonna try to convince you that this is gonna improve your life by 100x. But it's humans, like, we're linearly made, so it's like you can't improve it 100x unless we eventually would, in like 2050, completely rewire how the brain and stuff works. But that is in the future, right? Like this new age tech, silly robots and things that we're gonna see the next 10 years, it's gonna be useless. It's gonna be horrible, man. If it gives you more value, like tokens and stuff like that, then sure, I get it. But yeah, most of it's gonna be pointless. And then you in general have a lot of these centralized and profit ideas. The idea of profits going away. We're moving towards a zero marginal cost society. Like, where is the need for profit if you make your own tokens? You make your own value. There's no need for profit. And either way, there's always going to come in new entries. It's going to lower the cost. Like, it's going to be cheaper to do everything. Yeah, physical profits also is like, it's going away, man. It's going away. You can get everything via software these days. You also have this big movement of the idea of the belief in jobs. The jobs, the intellect job, the physical job. The machine took the physical jobs. Artificial intelligence will take all the intellect jobs. All the data processing jobs, to be honest. So people have this linear thinking about the jobs. Where's my job? It's a man-made structure. We made it up, and if we free ourselves up, we really don't have to do these little things. And then you also have this mainstream ideas that they have this weird linear thinking that they think it's going to take up to 2045 before we see big changes. We see big changes. I mean, this is already hitting the market right now. Like, this is going on right now. It's not 2045. Like, a lot of this cryptocurrency, a lot of this exciting stuff, it's hitting 2019. There's a lot of exciting stuff coming out. Graphene blockchain, like Steam, came out 2016. Like, this is hitting right now. This is changing deep ideas, like, in the background about how people do things. So yeah, some thoughts there about stuff that I see, and it's just like, man, you're so behind. Mainstream ideas are so behind, to be honest. We're really gonna create superhumans. Superhumans that get exponential news, exponential technology, and using it, exponential software, I would say Steam is. And yeah, so yeah, some thoughts there about mainstream ideas about AI. Yeah, it's funny to watch in many ways. Have a great day, everyone, on Steam Blockchain. Bye bye.